In the convoluted tapestry of my past, a pivotal event unfolded more than half a dozen years ago, an occurrence that still reverberates through the corridors of my psyche, its tendrils refusing to release their grip on my consciousness. At that juncture, I, John, found myself at the tender age of 31, entwined in a loving, ostensibly monogamous relationship with Lisa, my girlfriend of 29, a connection that had blossomed and burgeoned over the course of 3 years, or so I believed. The genesis of our liaison could be traced back to a fortuitous encounter at a cocktail reception hosted within the hallowed halls of a local art museum, an institution whose proclivity for modern art failed to align with our predilections. Nevertheless, we attended this social soiree in the company of friends, and amidst the canvases that failed to captivate our senses, Lisa and I discovered a resonance that transcended the banality of contemporary art. What commenced as casual dalliances soon burgeoned into exclusivity, and within a year, the contours of our relationship evolved. The pivotal juncture materialized when Lisa broached the subject of cohabitation, an overture towards a shared life. Hesitant and unprepared, I demurred, opting to retain separate abodes while consecrating our connection through nightly rendezvous, forging a bond that deepened with each passing day. Eventually, under Lisa's gentle cajoling, I acquiesced to the notion of cohabitation, marking this milestone on our second anniversary. Our cohabitation unfolded harmoniously, a symphony of shared space and shared experiences that resonated with the cadence of a love story unfurling. 2 years into our union, the contours of our relationship remained dynamic, and our intimacy, both emotional and physical, flourished. However, as the sands of time cascaded through the hourglass, Lisa subtly introduced the notion of matrimony and the prospect of expanding our familial domain. While the prospect of marriage lingered on the horizon, Lisa surprised me with news that reverberated through the corridors of my consciousness: a potential pregnancy. A confluence of fear and excitement surged within me, emotions undulating like a tempestuous sea. Yet, amidst this emotional maelstrom, a wave of overjoyed anticipation enveloped me, propelling me into the realm of impending fatherhood. In the subsequent weeks, Lisa's inquiries about matrimony became more pronounced, a persistent refrain in the symphony of our shared life. I, however, clung to the notion of allowing our cohabitation to serve as the litmus test for the robustness of our connection. As the nursery took shape, and we prepared for the arrival of our progeny, the specter of marriage loomed on the horizon. The crescendo of our shared narrative reached its zenith when, in the 7th month of Lisa's pregnancy, I knelt on bended knee, proffering a ring that encapsulated my commitment and love. In that crystalline moment, beneath the auspices of joy and emotion, I asked Lisa to be my wife. Her tearful affirmation echoed through the chambers of our shared history, and in that ethereal space, we embraced the promise of matrimony, a promise that would ostensibly be fulfilled at the mayor's office the following month, heralding the commencement of a new chapter in our intertwined destinies. In the chronicles of my life, a tumultuous chapter unfolded, a narrative fraught with unforeseen twists and turns that would irrevocably alter the trajectory of my existence. The stage was set with the impending arrival of our progeny, a testament to the love Lisa and I purportedly shared. Alas, destiny, it seemed, harbored divergent plans. A date was etched on the calendar, marking the culmination of our shared aspirations, the day of our wedding. However, fate, ever capricious, intervened with a capricious twist. Mere days before the anticipated nuptials, the baby, our shared creation, expressed an eagerness to join the world. The hospital beckoned at an ungodly hour, 4:00 a.m. A frantic journey to the realm of maternity ensued, and by the stroke of 8:00 a.m., Lisa, with a resilience emblematic of motherhood, ushered a healthy baby boy into our lives. In the crucible of the delivery room, I stood witness to the miracle of birth, a moment that, in its aftermath, revealed a disconcerting truth. The infant cradled in Lisa's arms bore no resemblance to the narratives of our genetic heritage. Jet black hair, a deep brown complexion, and an unmistakable Hispanic lineage, features conspicuously incongruent with the fair-haired, light-skinned legacy of both Lisa and me. A tempest of emotions raged within me, a symphony of disbelief, heartbreak, and unspoken truths that threatened to shatter the veneer of normalcy. Lisa, in her stoicism, concealed the tremors of shock beneath a facade of composure. My heart raced at an alarming pace, a pulsation attuned to the dissonance resonating through the room. I acquiesced to her plea, cradling the infant in my arms as tears, silent emissaries of my shattered dreams, traced rivulets down my cheeks. Amidst the anguish, a lifeline manifested in the form of a phone call, my mother's voice cutting through the tumult. "Son," I know, she uttered, a prescient acknowledgement of the unspoken truth. In that moment, familial support became the anchor tethering me to the precipice of my shattered reality. Recomposed and fortified by maternal wisdom, I returned to the sanctuary of the hospital room. A tableau awaited: Lisa, her parents, and my mother, a tableau devoid of the infant who had momentarily obscured the truth. The nursery had become a haven, a temporary refuge for the child whose existence now hung in the balance. A stratagem unfolded, a sojourn to the cafeteria, a respite for weary souls in the midst of a maelstrom. Time elapsed in measured increments, and as we ascended to the upper echelons of the hospital, a decision crystallized. Lisa, in her exhaustion, yearned for repose, an opportunity seized upon by familial reticence. The room emptied, and I found myself on the precipice of a decision that would reverberate through the annals of my life. Lisa's entreaty beckoned, a request for my presence amidst the turmoil. With a heavy heart, I acquiesced, stepping into the sanctum of her recovery, where she, in blissful ignorance, extolled the joy of motherhood, oblivious to the seismic shifts beneath the surface. In the effervescent aftermath of childbirth, a veneer of happiness draped over the room, an illusion shattered by the specter of a conversation that loomed on the horizon. When Lisa, my ostensibly jubilant partner, sensed the dissonance in my demeanor, she probed, an inquiry that set the stage for an inevitable revelation. A palpable tension hung in the air as I uttered the words, "We need to talk," an ominous prelude to the tempest that would unfurl. As we sat on the precipice of a discussion, I broached the subject that eclipsed the blissful facade, the baby. In response, she, with a semblance of incredulity, questioned the legitimacy of my concerns, contending that the child unequivocally bore my genetic imprint. My retort, blunt and unequivocal, shattered the illusion, as I declared, "Lisa, the baby is clearly not mine." A tremor traversed her countenance, and in the ensuing silence, a torrent of sobs became the harbinger of an admission she could no longer evade. In the wake of her tearful confession, a revelation emerged, a betrayal, an infidelity that transcended the boundaries of our shared reality. Her ex, a specter from the recesses of her past, resurfaced 8 months prior, catalyzing a liaison that stood as a testament to a momentary lapse of fidelity. The gravity of her admission reverberated within me, a betrayal compounded by the longevity of her past relationship with this erstwhile lover, a 5-year union that cast a long shadow over our shared narrative. Faced with the undeniable truth, I rose from my seat, drawn to the window, where the panorama of traffic below became a metaphor for the chaos that enveloped my inner world. In a daze, she pleaded for understanding, confessing her transgressions, yet my resolve remained unyielding. The demise of our relationship became an irrevocable certainty. In the cavernous space of her tearful supplication, she implored a chance for redemption, an entreaty that met the stern barricade of my refusal. With a resolute demeanor, I mandated the disclosure of her infidelity to her parents, a reckoning that would unveil the truth and sever the remnants of our shared life. As we ushered her parents into the room, a tableau of grief unfolded. Lisa, ensconced in her silent agony, struggled to articulate the betrayal that had unraveled our lives. In an act of profound transparency, I elucidated the sordid details of our shattered union, a narrative that left all 3 parents, mine included, enveloped in a tempest of sorrow. In the wake of this agonizing revelation, I announced the termination of our relationship and the imminent relocation of Lisa and her newborn to her parents' abode. Through her inconsolable tears, Lisa pleaded for reprieve, a plea that resonated with desperation. My steadfast resolve, however, remained unwavering as I exited the room with my mother, leaving behind the shards of a love that had succumbed to the weight of betrayal. Exiting the confines of the hospital room, the weight of my shattered reality clung to my every step. In the cocoon of her parents' consolation, Lisa grappled with the repercussions of her choices, a tableau of grief that unfolded in my rearview mirror as we traversed the distance from the hospital to a destiny irrevocably altered. Amidst the rhythmic hum of the road, a discordant tone echoed through my phone, heralding Lisa's plea for clemency. "Please, John, don't end our relationship this way," she implored, her words a desperate plea to salvage the remnants of what once was. My response, firm and unyielding, delineated the irreparable breach of trust that now festered within our shared history. In the solemnity of her parents' home, her mother, grappling with maternal solicitude, beseeched me to reconsider, a request met with a measured refusal. The breach of trust, an indelible scar on the canvas of our shared past, precluded any possibility of reconciliation. Returning home, a pall of desolation descended upon me, a relentless storm of tears that bore witness to the wreckage of a love undone. Navigating this labyrinth of heartache, a profound lesson emerged from the crucible of my own tribulations. A somber piece of advice echoed through the corridors of my experience, the imperative of a pre-birth paternity test. A precautionary measure, devoid of suspicion or distrust, that could potentially avert the cataclysmic consequences that befell me. As the video narrative drew to a close, a vow resonated through the parting words. It expressed a desire to meet Lisa's son when he reached the age of 21. This act was imbued with gratitude for the unexpected detour that spared me from a lifetime entangled in the complexities of a marriage built on a foundation of deceit. With a poignant sign-off, the storyteller imparted his wisdom, a sobering reflection on the fragility of trust and the unforeseen tribulations that may lie beneath the surface of seemingly idyllic unions. Until the next chapter unfolds, he bid farewell, a salutation tinged with the weight of profound lessons learned.